The first time I saw you, my world changed. It wasn't the kind of change that comes with fireworks or storms. It was deeper, quieter, something that reached inside me and pulled me awake. You stood there, sunlight dripping over your shoulders like honey, and I knew nothing would be the same again. My heart didn't race. It paused, suspended between fear and something dangerously close to desire. I watched your lips move in conversation with someone else, but all I heard was silence. It was like the universe muted everything except the way you moved, the way you breathed. I didn't understand what was happening, only that I couldn't walk away. My feet stayed rooted to the ground, as if leaving would mean abandoning something sacred. That moment became a scar on my memory, a beautiful burning mark etched deep inside me. Even before I spoke to you, I was yours. Even before I knew your name, I had whispered it 1,000 times in my sleep. You were my beginning. And in that moment, I belonged to you completely. When we finally spoke, your voice wasn't what I expected. It wasn't soft or sweet. It was fierce, wild, honest. You didn't flirt. You challenged. And that thrilled me in a way nothing else ever had. You looked me in the eyes and didn't look away. You asked questions no one had dared to ask, and you smiled when I hesitated. You broke through walls I didn't know I had, and I let you. I found myself opening up without even meaning to, letting you see things I had buried long ago. The more I talked, the more I wanted to talk. You made me feel seen, not just admired or wanted, seen. You listened with your whole soul, and in your silence I heard everything I'd been missing. You didn't just hear my words, you felt them. And somewhere between our first laugh and our first lingering glance, I knew I was in trouble. Not the kind of trouble I could run from, the kind that wraps its arms around you and says, "This is where you live now." The first time you touched me, everything else disappeared. It wasn't even intentional. A brush of your fingers against my arm, but it lit a fire beneath my skin. You didn't apologize. You didn't flinch. You looked at me like you already knew how I tasted, how I'd tremble under your lips. My breath caught, and you smirked. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about the way your fingers felt, the way your eyes undressed me, without shame. You weren't careful with me, and I didn't want you to be. I craved the danger in your touch, the promise of something real and raw. I didn't want softness. I wanted passion. I wanted to lose myself in you, to forget the world and drown in the way you kissed, the way you demanded more. Every moment after that was an ache. I couldn't focus. I couldn't breathe. All I wanted was to feel your hands again, to hear your voice whisper things that would ruin me forever. And I knew you would. I wanted you to. The night you kissed me, it was raining. We stood too close, pretending not to notice the pull between us, but it was useless. Every breath was a question, every silence a dare. Your eyes flicked to my lips like you were memorizing them, and I tilted my face toward yours without meaning to. You hesitated, just long enough to drive me mad, and then you moved. Your mouth crashed against mine like it had been waiting a lifetime. It wasn't gentle, it was possession. You didn't ask for permission. You took what was already yours, and I gave in completely. My hands found your neck, your hair, your skin. I didn't care about the rain or the world or anything else. I just wanted you. That kiss ruined me. It shattered every rule I'd ever made. It wasn't just a kiss. It was a promise, a war, a surrender. And when we finally pulled apart, gasping, you whispered one word that sealed it all. From that moment on, we weren't careful anymore. We stopped pretending. We let the fire consume us. Every touch was urgent, every kiss, desperate. We explored each other like we were made to fit. And maybe we were. Your skin felt like home, your breath like salvation. Nights blurred into mornings, and I stopped counting hours. I only counted heartbeats, yours and mine tangled together beneath the sheets. You marked me in places no one could see, but I felt them always. The way your hands moved over me, the way your voice turned rough when you whispered my name. We weren't lovers, we were addicts, and I never wanted to be clean. You taught me how to fall without fear, how to love without limits. And even when we fought, it was fire and thunder, and all the stars collapsing at once. We weren't perfect, we were something better. We were real, and that made everything worth it. But love like ours was never quiet. It shook foundations, it demanded sacrifice. I watched you walk away once, your jaw set, your eyes wet. I didn't stop you, not because I didn't want to, but because I didn't know how. I stood there broken, watching the only person who had ever truly owned me disappear into the night. And in that silence, I realized something terrifying. I would wait for you forever. I would ache in your absence, scream in my sleep, but I wouldn't stop loving you. Even when you were gone, you were still mine. Days bled into weeks, and I carried the ghost of your touch like a scar. I tried to move on, but no one else fit, no one else was you. Every kiss was wrong, every heartbeat hollow. You had become my addiction, and withdrawal was slow, painful, impossible. I told myself you'd come back, that this wasn't the end, and in the darkest hour of the loneliest night, you did. You came back like thunder, slamming the door and crossing the room in 3 fierce steps. You didn't speak, you just grabbed me, kissed me like you were drowning, and I let you. I kissed you back with everything I had, every tear I'd shed, every scream I'd buried. We didn't need words. Our bodies spoke for us, raw and breathless, and aching. We fell into each other like we'd never been apart, like our souls had waited for this reunion. And after, lying there in the aftermath, tangled and trembling, you looked into my eyes and said, "I'm done running." I believed you, because your voice didn't shake, because your hands didn't let go, and because even in all the pain, I never stopped loving you. I never could. You were still mine, and I was still yours. Our love became quieter after that, not weaker, just deeper. We didn't need to shout or burn, we just were. We built a life not on perfection, but on truth. We fought, we cried, we forgave, and through it all we held each other. Every night, your hand still found me in the dark. Every morning, your smile was still the first thing I needed. You made coffee with sleepy eyes, and kissed my forehead like it was ritual. We had lazy Sundays, and wild Fridays, quiet breakfasts, and loud midnight dances. Life wasn't always kind, but we were, to each other, and that made the world bearable. You weren't just my lover, you were my peace, my storm, my home, and in every version of the future I imagined, you were always there, laughing, loving, holding me when the world got too heavy, whispering, "You are my love." Even now, with time slipping by faster than I'd like, I still look at you the same way. I still see that golden glow around you, still feel that ache in my chest when you smile. We've grown together, changed together, but my heart still skips when you walk into the room. You still kiss me like you mean it. You still hold me like you'll never let go. And I still fall for every single day. Sometimes I wonder how I got so lucky, how I found the one person who fit me in every broken, beautiful way. But then I remember, we didn't find each other. We were made for each other, born from the same fire, drawn by the same gravity. And every moment since has just been the universe reminding me, you are my love, my always, my forever. And I'll keep saying it, whispering it, living it, until my last breath belongs to you too.